My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Don't be fake with me.
Oh, no. I'm not fake at all. I'm so glad that we are back on. How's the noggin?
My head?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's fine. You know.
A little heat stroke?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I don't know what to do with this heat. Can we talk about it?
When you say you don't know what to do with this heat, now, what do you think are your options? Like, can you forego the heat for now? Can you say, hey, heat, come back? Isn't it just...
I think just like a survival.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't think I'm interested. You know what's so embarrassing, Raheel, is that we were born in the desert.
We were born in the desert. So this is something that I experienced on my trip back to the Holy Land, I'll call it, because it's not the homeland. Do you consider it the homeland, actually? And actually, that's a good question. Is it?
The homeland for me, para me, is New Jersey.
I think the homeland for me is Lehigh Valley. Sadly.
Oh, interesting.
It's not at all. It's Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So when I visited Saudi Arabia, it was the flight. The airport was one of those for some reason because it was like the pilgrimage terminal.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a walkway, so I had to come down the steps and take the bus to the terminal. Remember, like we used to do that old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like the pilgrim terminal is trash, by the way. I don't know why that is. Anyways, I got out and I was wearing like the pilgrimage outfit, right? Which is essentially just a towel up top and a towel at the bottom.
Yeah, you're like loose. Everything's hanging. So when we say pilgrimage, let's just be very clear to people. Raheel was in Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago for Umrah, which is a little mini trip to the Holy Land.
It's a little guy. It's a little guy pilgrimage.
It's not Hajj. It's not like the big pilgrimage for Muslims. It's like a trial run. It's
like, hey, if you're going to be passing by Mecca, you should do a thing. This is a thing that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
There are steps to it. You have to follow steps.
It's a nice to have.
It's a nice to have. Yeah, it's not a requirement.
No.
Hajj is a
And
requirement.
when Muslims go for Hajj, men specifically, they wear, a white towel draped around their lower body, and then they wear essentially a toga. It's
Mhm.
just a towel around their lower half, and then another towel kind of like wrapped around it, like almost, yeah, like a toga.
Exactly.
And a very important rule, which you know how I feel about like very specific rules in Islam. I'm like, who decided that? And that's why I'm going to go to hell and
Yeah.
not survive because of this heat. But they're like, no underwear.
I mean, it's because there's a reason for it, and it's like you're not supposed to wear anything with stitching on it. Did you know that? That's why, like,
No.
yeah, that's why that's why you also like you can get special Umrah and Hajj shoes that don't have stitching on it. That's the reason why.
Yeah, but who decided that?
I don't think either one of us want to ask that question. I think we should bleep this part. Anyways, what was the point of this story?
No, the point was that you were basically naked in the nude.
Basically naked. I was basically in the nude, and I stepped out of the airplane, and the heat, it enveloped me. It got into it got inside my body. Yeah, and because I was just wearing a towel at the bottom, I figured that I'm bringing breeze with me. No, what happened was the heat actually found its way inside the towel, up to all over the place, and you're just like, how did I start sweating in my taint already? I just got here. And I remember thinking, like, how did we live like this? 'Cause this is how we lived.
Do you remember when we were kids and we'd have to go somewhere and our dad would have to like go and turn on the car earlier because when we got in, the seatbelts would burn our skin.
They really would. It would leave a mark.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'd like hurry and like rush into like the back seat. Yeah, exactly. You get branded.
Especially because we didn't wear seatbelts. Like they were just there.
Yeah.
They were just there for branding.
Yeah, I think I have a Datsun emblem in my back.
Yeah, because like but there were it was just so hot. It was just so unbelievably hot, and we would have picnics on the highway at night.
Yeah. It wasn't just any. It was an abandoned highway. It was where they stopped construction. So it was just, hey, this is where the road ends. I still remember it. It was called Exit 8. Exit 8 was where, and it was just barren desert land.
Yep.
And our parents were like, hey, you know what? Let's stop here. Let's take out meats that we have marinated for 2 days. Barbecue them in the summer. It
was nighttime. It was always at night. We would never.
It was always at night.
It was never. Yeah. I mean, they weren't crazy. They were barbecuing meats on the side of the highway on an unpaved road. Where the nice thing was there were no other cars, so like you could play on the road. Basically, it was also close to the airport, so every now and then you would see a plane flying over you.
Fun.
And yeah, our parents barbecued it, and we would get home at like 2:00 in the morning and then go to school the next day.
We were out until like 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Do you ever remember having a bedtime when we were kids?
Absolutely not. Like I remember going to bed the night before first grade because I was going to this new school, right? It was like the new school that our dad had paid a lot of money for.
Yeah.
And I remember like, okay, this is a big night. Tomorrow's like the first night, or tomorrow's the first day of all of your schooling, essentially. And I woke up and we had breakfast. Made me breakfast. Mm-hmm. That is the last day I had breakfast. After that, nobody gave a shit ever again. No one ever checked my homework.
No
one cared what. Nothing. You get a report card. Hey, why'd you fuck up? Hey, why don't you pay attention?
Yes. I'll never forget it. Like, you were really smart and I would argue. What some would say. Some could say. But when we moved to America, our mom had spent all this time getting our brother, who's 5 years older than me, like all the Kaplan SAT classes. Yeah. And that was in 1996 or 97. Mm-hmm. And I graduated high school in 2003. So I was taking my SATs in like 2001, 2002. I used the same Kaplan cards from like 1995 or whatever.
Hey, the words didn't change, all right? I'm sure they had the same vocab and the same math.
And like they never took me to a course, nothing. Driver's ed, not for me, like nothing. And you were really smart. So like when you took your SATs, you got a really good score without even trying. So I think our mom was just like, oh, he got a better score than Nabil did. And Nabil took the Kaplan courses. So
We
obviously,
paid for Nabil,
yeah, this is fine. Like she'll figure it out. She didn't. Do you know? I did take the SATs twice.
Oh.
And I did very poorly.
No, I'm sure you didn't.
No.
Is it something we want to reveal?
We can reveal it. I'm 40 almost. It's fine. What do you think I got?
I think you got, because
this is back then when 1400 was the best score. 16 was if you were crazy good.
1600 was a perfect score. Yeah.
Yeah. 14 was like, you're amazingly smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a 1400. I got a 1350.
Only. What do you think I got?
I'm going to say, because you were talking so poorly about yourself, and now this is bad. Like, if I say a number and it's like too high.
I think you should aim high. And then
aim high.
You aim high on the lower side, and then I'll tell you what I actually got.
I'm going to say you got an 1180.
That's really nice. I got a 1040.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, 1040 is really bad.
Wait, this is after the second time?
So the first time I got like whatever 520 or like one time I got like a 10-point better score on math and whatever, and then the next time it just like swapped out.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. At the end of the day, you know what? Big Pharma doesn't fucking care. Look at you. You're thriving.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, and
I mean, one of us went to college.
Hey. I don't know why. Just because we're revealing SAT scores doesn't mean that we have to get into the nitty-gritty details of our potentially getting degrees and whatnot.
Our academic careers.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Our entire academic. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this recently because one of our family friends, their daughter, who I'm really close to, just got a presidential award. You remember those?
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, I got one of those when I was in 8th grade.
You got those very often.
No, you just get it once. I just got it once. Like
No, I feel like you got it 7th and 8th grade.
No, we didn't have one in 7th grade. I remember when I got it in 8th grade. We have it framed. Anyways, I was like, I remember I used to care about education until like 8th grade, at least.
Yeah.
And then what happened? And I was like, you know what? I just don't want to be there. That's ultimately what it comes down. I just don't want to be here.
I think like you turned like 14, 15 and you were like, oh, I think I might be too smart for school. None of this is challenging to me and I don't want to be here anymore and I'd rather just not.
That's not it. I think I was just ADHD, baby. Undiagnosed
ADHD. I think that's when it really like manifested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also got a presidential award in 8th grade.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
It's amazing.
I know that's surprising to me as somebody who got 1040 on their SATs.
I'm actually now thinking less of my own presidential award. They're apparently just fucking handing those things out.
Well, you got them if you got like all straight A's, right? Or something. That's what it was.
You got so you didn't get a presidential award. You got like the principal's award. You got the principal's award was the one from the school.
No. Absolutely not. No, I got Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton signed a certificate. I'm sure it's in my stuff somewhere in an attic or a basement somewhere.
I'm actually looking at a lot of our stuff right now. I can go through it for you. Let's post it online with your social security and your Medicaid information. Are you on Medicaid?
I'm not yet.
Are you postmenopausal? Isn't that what happened?
No.
Oh, okay.
What? I wish. Anyway. We were talking about the heat, and I think this is what's happening is that it's too hot. 104 degrees today.
So stupid.
104. And can I say something? You know what's bullshit when you look at the weather app?
Mm-hmm.
When it says a number and then it says feels like and it's a different number. Why don't you just tell me what it feels like? Why do you need to tell me the other number? I don't understand.
And I don't get how that works. Like, why does it feel hotter or colder Is it because of the clothes that we're wearing? What is our response? Like, what am I supposed to, how am I making it feel hotter? How do I change this? What do you want from me?
What do you want from me? Also, like, why are you telling me the actual temperature? And I would imagine the feels like is like human temperature, right?
Yeah.
It's like as a human person moving in the world, it actually feels like 110. But the temperature actually by scientific measure is like 99. What the fuck am I doing with the scientific measure? Am I a farmer?
Just FYI, if you're a piece of metal and you're reading this, your temperature is 99.
No, a piece of metal in 99 degrees is going to be like 300 degrees.
See, this is what happens when you stop paying attention in 9th grade.
Oh, God. Did you ever get into Gifted and Talented?
What is Gifted and Talented?
That was like the level above before. Like it was like AP, but like in middle school.
Yeah, so in 7th grade they put me right into like the advanced math classes because I was a brown kid coming from Saudi Arabia, and they had me like do like basic tests. I was like, what the fuck is this? We were just straight. I was a 12-year-old from Saudi Arabia, and I had a Jersey accent. But yeah, I was like, what the fuck? You are embarrassing yourself with this bullshit. So I got in 7th grade, and then in 8th grade, because I did well in 7th grade, they put me in the advanced classes, and then 9th grade and stuff was all like pre-AP stuff.
5th grade, I struggled because they put me in the smarter math class, and buddy, it was bad for me. I still can't do math, and it was really traumatizing. And then the next year, they dumped me down to very slow math. And I killed it. I was like, 6th grade was the best year of my middle school career because I had a great teacher. I felt like I did, I was a year into living in America, and I was killing it in my classes because they had moved me to all of like the right level for my stupid little head.
Yeah, for your noggin.
For my noggin. They were like, oh, we thought that she was foreign and smart, but we were wrong. She's just American and dumb. So they put me in the regular class with the rest of the kids.
You keep talking about yourself like this. That's not true. I don't remember you being this really poor student.
Because nobody paid attention. Nobody paid attention. I remember senior year, or maybe senior year of high school, or no, maybe junior year of high school in chemistry. I remember getting my report card, and I assumed that I was going to fail because I was really dumb. And I remember my average at the end of the year was a B because I had somehow gotten a 98 in my chemistry final exam.
What?
Yeah.
Were you sleeping with the teacher?
No, I was not. It pulled me up from C's to a B. It was incredible. Yeah. But I remember that being shocking. And I also remember our mom seeing it and being like, whoa. She was very surprised. That's the only time I ever remember her looking at my report card. Because I was surprised and then she was surprised. We were both like, oh, that's shocking. And then that was the last time anybody looked at my report card. And then in college, I faked them.
Oh, good. How did you fake yours? I faked mine, obviously, working at Staples at the copy center. I faked everybody's.
Yeah, I just photoshopped it. And I was actually on academic probation my first year of college.
Fantastic.
But look, I made it out. Yeah. I graduated with a 3.3 GPA, which is fine. Mm-hmm. That's it. Exactly. Yeah. And again, Big Pharma don't care.
Big Pharma has no idea.
Well, they do now. Imagine. CEO of Mr. Farms is like, we need to see you in my office.
Yeah, Bill Pharma calls you in his office.
He's like, I also heard you were talking shit about the temperature as a pharma myself. Anyway. Hey, listen, I'm glad we're having a laugh. It's extremely hot. The world's in turmoil.
It's not good at all.
It's not good. They have a new airplane coming into DC right now that's supposed to be a Air Force One, but for a nuclear holocaust to just save Trump and his cronies.
Exactly. When humanity is on the precipice of extinction and you want to choose the people that you want to make sure that we survive, Trump and the 22-year-olds in his cabinet are really where we should restart humanity.
Yeah, Braden and Jaden and Caden. Unfortunately, Aiden.
Yeah. But they're all like AEIGHDEN. Aiden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about this maybe before, but any interest in surviving a nuclear holocaust?
So what am I left with? Like, what am I obviously is family gone? And then like what can I live off the land? I'm assuming I'm not gonna have a cushy 9 to 5 corporate job in the
I mean,
post
that's a
apocalypse.
good question. That's a good question. Do you still need to log into work the next day?
That's my question. Like, if there is some sense of normalcy, and I can, like, obviously, I'm assuming I'm the only survivor in this Holocaust from our in this
Sure.
from our family. So yes, obviously, the emotional trauma of losing you and the rest of the family, blah blah blah. That's
You'd
bad.
get a bereavement break.
I'd get a bereavement. I think the entire world would get a bereavement break. You know, we'd get like a month or so off. Everybody just gets to go to Turks and Caicos or whatever. And then
If it exists.
if it exists, but then like, hey, if there's a thing for me to do, if there's a job for me to do, let's get back on the horn. You know what I mean? If you are talking like actual like post-apocalypse, just wander the land and fight animals and zombies and stuff like that, no, just take me out, man.
No, I don't think that there's going to be zombies in this situation. It's not a
Okay.
zombie apocalypse.
So what do I have to do to
I think you got to
survive?
okay, let's say cars don't work anymore.
Okay. I like a jaunt. I like a jaunt.
Okay, but now people are riding horses.
Could I learn to ride a horse? The horses don't die in a nuclear holocaust? I don't know.
No, I mean, animals are really smart. They figured it
Okay.
out.
I think I can like find a bike somewhere. A bicycle. I'll ride a bicycle.
Yeah, exactly. So you ride a bicycle. There's no more Trader Joe's.
That's fine. We can make our food. So I think I can do okay with food.
I
Maybe.
mean, no more vegetables for you though for a while because you'd have to actually plant them and grow them and all
Grow
that
them.
stuff.
Plus, like the soil has radiation in it, so how would take me out.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm already tired, like thinking of the second thing I have to do. You know what I mean? Like it's just no.
I always say this. I am not a survivor. If I see the shiny lights coming down my way from the skies, I'm going to run towards it.
Is there internet?
No, Raheel, the cars don't work. You're like, can I still send a meme about it? I'm not interested. It's scary, guys. It's not fun.
It's not fun. How so? Legitimately, how scared have you been with all the stuff that's been going on?
I'll be honest with you. I've been disassociating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have been watching approximately 7 hours a week of Love Island.
Oh,
so it's really helped me, I guess, in my brain a little bit to just not think about things. But, at the same time, you have the president like making declarations on Truth Socials. Yeah. Somebody posted it. It's like when Michael on The Office declared bankruptcy by just shouting, "I declare bankruptcy."
Yeah.
That's what his ceasefires are. And yeah, I don't know what to think of it. I don't know. Like I'm like, okay, well, so the government doesn't matter anymore. Like we at this point in this country, like have a government, but like it doesn't really matter from like a federal level, it feels like to me.
It feels like between now and hopefully November next year when we get some changes. That's what I'm hoping happens. I hope people smarten up or whatever. It feels like we're gonna be kind of in a stalemate for me and you, right? It's gonna be like, look at this awful shit that's happening, and then you have some really good, smart, brave people go and combat that awful shit, right?
Yeah.
And there will be legal cases, and things are gonna get delayed. They won't be able to get all of the shit that they want to get passed. Also, what's nice is, and we'll get into like I guess maybe the war stuff a little bit more, but like there's already like major fractions or fractures within the MAGA movement.
Yeah.
So like that's the one thing that you can rely on is that they're all narcissists and they're crazy. So that doesn't really let them get things done properly, right? So what happens is like Trump makes some crazy like executive order happen, and then all of these crazy people go out and they start acting like absolute maniacs. Then somebody puts like a judge puts a stay in there, and then things kind of get normal a little bit. It just delays things, right? But what happens in this process, and it doesn't affect me and you, all that it affects us is we just watch the news and say, hey, this is fucking awful. And then we say, oh, there's some relief at the end of this because there's still a system and all that stuff happens, right? What's actually happening in the middle of all that is there are a lot of innocent people that get fucking
dying.
crushed. They get crushed by it, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit us. And like the second you get that relief from that crazy thing, you also tend to forget about all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like just kind of following like this Iran Israel stuff, and like the ceasefire information coming out yesterday, and it was like, oh look, see, it's all done, we're all good, like now that thing is completely over, right? And it's like, oh, it was just a big joke or whatever it was. That's like kind of the reaction that you see is, oh,
Yeah.
both of these countries are assholes or whatever. And then what people forget is all the while, hey, ICE is still fucking conducting raids and stealing kids and separating families and all that shit. And by the way, like just yesterday, 45 civilians died in Gaza. Like that's still like every single day, some awful shit is happening. But the main, like the big awful shit of nuclear war is deterred for 12 hours. So now I don't have to think about it.
Well, what's crazy is like, we haven't recorded an episode, you and I, in a couple of days. Today is what?
Mhm.
What's the date today? The
24th.
24th. Like 10 days ago, the state legislator, member of the state of Minnesota state legislator, she died. She was murdered. She was assassinated. She and her husband and their dog were assassinated. And it's crazy to me that this major killing happened, by the way, by a guy who is like openly on social media, has had fantasies about doing crazy stuff like this with people and like very openly anti liberals. And he actually, like, I think that I was reading up on it, he had all intent to harass and intimidate and then eventually kill people because he had these like severely anti-abortion views and all this stuff. Like he just was really emboldened by Donald Trump. And the crazy thing is, like, I don't remember, I mean, maybe it happened, I don't remember seeing anything happen where Trump said anything. Did he say anything? I'm not sure.
I don't think I saw Trump say anything. The immediate thing that came out of the MAGA world was that, oh, he was appointed to a business committee by Tim Walz, right? And those business committees are basically it's basically what do you call it? A chamber of commerce type of deal, right? It's like anybody who says that they're a businessman and they want to be a part of a business committee, they can be a part of a business committee. So the MAGA world got their teeth into that shit, and they were like, well, no, he's actually a Harris appointee, and this is violent left, and they actually showed, there was this clip of that state senator whose name, of course, I don't know because it happened 10 days ago and I've already forgotten about it, right?
Her name was hold on, her name was Melissa Hortman. Yeah.
And so there was that clip of her being sad about not being able to pass a legislation. I think it was something like that was going to be giving rights to immigrants or something like that. And she was sad that she wasn't able to get it done, right? And the MAGA world said that, we'll see, the fear that she sees in her eyes is because these leftist loons are crazy, and that's what happened here. That was like initially within like the first 5 or 6 hours, that's what they said. When it became obviously clear that this was a pro-Trump MAGA lunatic, they just stopped talking about it. Then we had Iran and Israel and Gaza and India and Pakistan to talk about, and all that. Simone Biles was defending men, so that's what they want to talk about.
Exactly. They want to talk about bathrooms, and they want to talk about trans people in sports, instead of talking about the fact that there are actually people who believe that they should be going out there to kill. Because it wasn't just Melissa Hortman. Another I think there was another member of government.
Yeah, that got shot. So
that got
him
shot,
and
and it was her and her husband. It was him and his wife. It
him and
was
his wife.
it was John Hoffman, who's a senator. And so like this guy, I was looking at it while you were talking about like the right-wing response. And apparently, like, yeah, initially when it came out, they tried to put it that he was a Marxist, a leftist, he was appointed by Waltz, all this stuff. He was a Waltz associate. He was emboldened by the left, all this stuff. And then when it came out that this guy was actually a Trump voter, and there was all this stuff like leading him to be like very heavily MAGAfied, now Laura Loomer is like, oh, he was not actually the perpetrator. They're just putting it on us. So it's just like, it's complete bullshit. Like none of it makes any sense. It's all just a ruse to keep you confused, because the more confused we are and the more information we have going into our heads get too exhausted to do anything. So then we shut down and we do things like watch fucking Love Island for 7 hours.
Exactly. No, I don't think watching Love Island is a bad thing. Not really. Hot take. Well, I mean, I would never watch it because I have standards and stuff like that. But I honestly, it's like, what do you do, right? Like, I spend so much time having like these long emotional conversations, or like, like these like exhausting conversations with some of the guys that, like before November of last year were like much more bolder about like, hey, both sides are bad bullshit. And now have kind of retreated, and then you're still kind of going all of these conversations, right? And then you get done with it, and then you're like, okay, what the fuck did I accomplish? Nothing.
Yeah.
Because like the person isn't gonna like, who am I winning this argument for? Just to make myself feel bad? Like, I should just be watching TV. I should be watching Love Island.
I don't want to argue with people. It's very stupid. It's honestly, I've heard it described as when you're playing with Barbies and then you make your Barbies and Kens kiss each other.
Oh, this is Love Island, not The World you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about Love Island. That's what that is. But like, I'm done arguing with people. Like, if at this point you still, there's like that part of it. Like, I'm done arguing with like conservatives. Like, I'm like, okay, well, if you still agree with this, then that's crazy pants, and like you are beyond reasoning with, and I'm not having a conversation with you anymore. The people that I think I'm more irritated with right now are like people who are still voting for Andrew fucking Cuomo for New York mayor. Like, that's crazy. Bill Clinton came out and endorsed him. Now, Bill. Just two fondlers being like, so what? Who cares?
First of all, I need to apologize to our man Zoran, man. I thought he had no chance. 2 weeks ago when we talked about it, I was like, he's not gonna win.
I don't want to get excited about it, really. I don't want to get excited about it. I don't.
Our brother this morning was sharing Poly Market updates. You know what Poly Market is?
Is that like the polls?
It's like when you can bet on people.
Oh my God.
So he's really big on the Poly Market stuff. And he said this morning, MAMDANI is up 54-46. So let's see how that goes.
I don't know, guys. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And I do think it's not just MAMDANI, it's also Brad Lander, who is amazing. Like, he is also a super progressive Jewish person from, I think he's a state assemblyman or a lawyer. I can't remember. I know MAMDANI is a state assemblyman, but they're like doing interviews together and they're talking about like all kinds of stuff. And I want to talk about something because people are irritated. They were on Colbert and Colbert was talking to them about like their views on Gaza and Israel and everything. And people are like, why is anybody being asked about Israel in New York for, the election? And I was like, are you aware that the highest population of Jewish people in the world outside of Tel Aviv is New York City? Mm-hmm. Like, it does matter, and it is important for you to have a stance about it, and like people, of course, like, again, leftists like can't fucking get out of their own way, need a perfect candidate, are like, he was asked if he thinks that Israel has the right to exist and he said yes. And I'm like, yeah, everybody has the right to exist.
Yeah, man.
Except for men.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know who I'm more upset with in that. Like, things like the New York Times saying that he doesn't belong on the ballot. It's like, dude, how far? Like, how far have you fallen? Like, how does he not belong on the ballot? Like, even if you disagree with his positions and all that stuff, right? This is obviously like the excitement for him is a reflection of how people feel. Like the things that he's talking about, people obviously, at the very least, as the fucking New York Times, you should wonder why is it that people are connecting with this message, right? You have you have people like Andrew Cuomo's campaign calling him a socialist and a Marxist, and having like basically brown faced flyers out there.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, like, isn't that something that you as a New York Times should be fucking talking about? Isn't that what you should be? So it's interesting to see.
So on Pod Save America, I saw this clip of Dan Pfeiffer. He said, people are asking, how do we get young people to stick with Democrats and how do we win them back? And then every single time there's a candidate, they get excited about, like Zohran Mamdani. The Democratic establishment and billionaires get together to torpedo them. To do it for another Democrat is bad, but to do it for Andrew Cuomo with his record on corruption and sexual harassment is really unforgivable. Which is like what is happening. And so it's like, yeah, you're going to lose them. Like, I also want to talk about something when it comes to Democrats and like people who feel a certain way. So there was the No Kings protest that happened last week. And there were a bunch of signs there that said that went on the internet. And there were a couple of signs, and every city had a version of the sign. And it was, if Kamala had won, I would have been at brunch today. And I want to ask you, what do you think about signs like that?
I think I would have accepted them more or I would have found them maybe a little bit more whimsical in 2016. But it's like, hey, we're fucking 8 years later, right? Even like that march on, what was that, the day after the inauguration in 2016. Like in the moment, I remember
the pink hats
and stuff like that, right? And you go, okay, well, I think this is people are just fucking reacting to like this. They don't know how to react, and people are using humor, blah 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 blah. All that stuff is good, right? To like still be like, hey, we are like, I can't believe like the world is so crazy. I just wish that I could be unbothered by it, so I could go to fucking brunch. We have 8 years of seeing that our lives aren't just our lives, right? Like the world is bigger and the world is interconnected. And yes, I wish brunch for everybody, right? And I wish you could go to brunch, but let's not make that the message. Like the message is minorities are being fucking stolen and shoved into vans, and kids are being ripped away from their parents, right? Like that is a good enough message. That is a virtuous enough message. That should be the fucking point that should connect for everybody, right?
And if I'm going to be honest, right, that shit is terrifying, but there is also the reality that ICE was still funded under Biden, right? Like ICE still existed under Biden. The kids in cages remained in cages under Biden. So, when we talk about like Democrats trying to like find somebody better or change the way they're doing things, like that's what we mean, because you shouldn't have been at brunch. Actually, the reason why all this is happening is because you do think that you can be apathetic and you could just like go to brunch and not give a fuck. And like the point is that you should care a little bit more, because it's getting bad. The nuclear planes are here. The nuclear Holocaust planes are here. Okay.
The Doomsday planes.
That's what they're called, right? Doomsday planes?
Doomsday planes, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm on a doomsday plane, I'll tell you what, when I'm flying commercial. Remember when the doors were snapping off mid-plane? Mid-flight?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we've been gone for like 2 weeks. There was obviously another fucking crash in India. Like the Boeing.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's just awful.
It's terrible. Can't get on planes, guys.
I can't. I don't think I'm ever going to get on a plane ever again.
I'm getting on one very soon.
Where are you going?
Not very soon. In a couple weeks, months.
Where are you going?
Italy.
Hey, white lady. How dare you fucking go to brunch, you bitch.
Anyway, I'm going to be in Italy in 2 months.
I'm going to be eating a gelato in Tuscany.
One can only hope, okay?
Yeah. What were we talking about? It's all sad. It's all
Can we
sad.
talk about Iran for a second?
Sure, yeah. Pick me up.
Okay, wait, before we talk about Iran, actually, let's talk about the infighting, because what's happening now suddenly is that Tucker fucking Carlson is out there. Did you see the interview of Tucker Carlson and Tedward Cruz?
And Tedward Cruz, yeah, I did. This is actually something I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Talk about it. The floor is yours.
That clip of Tucker Carlson basically trolling Ted Cruz deliciously. It was again, these guys, Tucker Carlson, terrible person, right? Like a premier world-class troll. Just so good. Just acting like, oh, what? Huh? What? You don't know how many people are in Iran?
And then there's a part of the interview where he's like, gets a little bitchy with him, and Ted goes, I think you could be less snarky. He goes, I could. It's a problem I have. I was like, oh my God, Tucker, me and you, same.
A piece of shit, right? But like, now here's the thing, because that clip got shared a lot and people were like, yes, right? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people shared that clip because they felt like, well, this is a defense of Iran and this is a criticism of Israel, right? Which is what we want as Muslims. Like, hey, yes, we're on the Muslim side of this thing, right? And that is, not even talking about everything Israel has done over the last 3 years.
Sure.
Over the last whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's what we want, right? At the same time, like, you can be a person, you can be like, okay, well, this is benefiting me. This is at the same time, like, Tucker Carlson is part of the magosphere that is fucking pro-Nazi. Like, their hatred of Israel is seeped in anti-Semitism, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of anti-Semitism in the spaces that we occupy also. The fact that both of this shit is coming together for our benefit, yes, maybe in the near future, or like, in the immediate future, you go, well, if Trump doesn't have support within his party for Israel, then that means that Israel will stop feeling so emboldened to kill innocent people.
Sure.
Which is a good thing.
One would hope.
One would hope. At the same time, you can you can also go, well, yeah, sure, this is great, but also, fuck you, you're a Nazi. Because they're,
Yeah. Like, Tucker Carlson, thanks for asking the hard questions, but like, you in the last 15, 20 years had direct hand in like demonizing brown and black people in America and Muslims and all of that. Like, oh, now suddenly you're like, oh, you guys, you don't know how many people are in Iran? You don't know? What part of the Bible says that about Israel? I want to understand what that means. What are you talking about? Like, he's saying those things, but he could have asked those questions when he worked for Fox News. He's now coming out and saying, oh, Fox News is terrible and da-da-da-da and all this stuff. And, they're the reason why all this stuff is going on. And then, of course, you have like the other side of things where people are like, oh, Tucker Carlson went to Qatar and now he's being paid by the Qataris to be anti-Israel. And I'm like, could be true. I don't know, but what I do know is that we don't need to listen to Tucker Carlson to know what's right or wrong. He doesn't have to sit with Ted Cruz to make him look stupid to know that Ted Cruz is stupid. Like, that's not, you guys don't need to like pat him on the back for it. He's still a grifter. It's like the same thing with Candace Owens. Yes, she's now found a new anti-Israel platform, but that doesn't mean that she's a good person. She's still a piece of shit. She's still anti-woman. She's still anti-trans. She's still a garbage human being.
She's also very anti-Semitic. Like, her criticism of Israel is once again
based in anti-Semitism. Exactly.
And so I don't need you.
Yeah. Now, what's crazy is MTG Hamhocks herself.
Another one.
What did she tweet? She tweeted something. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She said something about. She seems sad. She seems sad. She seems. You know what? She seems heartbroken.
You support a guy for 8 years and then just to like have him turn around and support the Jewish lasers, like, you are going to get your heart broken.
Yeah, exactly. She said, it feels like a complete bait and switch to please the neocons, warmongers, military-industrial complex, contracts, and neocon TV personalities that MAGA hates who were never Trumpers. Contrary to brainwash, and now she had to obviously add something in. Contrary to brainwashed Democrat boomers, contrary to brainwashed Democrat boomers think and protest about, Trump is not king, MAGA is not a cult, and I can and do have my own opinion. Okay, great. She's concerned. She is concerned about the nuclear war, so the bar is in hell. So congratulations, Hammocks, you did it. But she did say, she said, why are we pouring our time and effort into foreign interests? Oh, honey, did you just join the Republican Party?
Yeah. Here's the thing. MTG says, hey, why are we pouring our money into foreign interests? We should use that money to separate families from kids in America, right?
Yeah.
That's where the money should be going.
Exactly. She's like, the money, should be going to the billionaires and the prison industrial complex and privatized prisons so that Black people are no longer allowed any freedom.
And women don't get health care.
Oh, don't even get me started. Now, Iran, right? Like, what do you say?
What's going on with the women? I haven't heard about the women in a while. What's going on?
Buddy,
is it bad?
It's bad. So people are like, oh, so do you know what's going on in Iran? Do you know what they do to women in Iran? I said, do you know what they did to Adriana Smith in Georgia? Do you know the story about Adriana Smith?
No.
She died and they kept her in a coma because she was pregnant. They used her as a fucking incubator. And when her body began to rot because she died, they did a C-section and pulled out a 1-pound baby who is now in the NICU. And guess what? The family of Adriana Smith does not have the health care or the cost to the medical, the means to pay for this medical expense. This is all done by the state of Georgia. Nobody in her family consented to this. No one in her family consented to this. But somebody decided, and I don't know who it was, but somebody decided that this is what they should be doing. That they should just be keeping this woman alive. And now her family is going to have to pay for keeping her alive for, I think, how many weeks was she?
It's like a couple months, right?
9 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, at the time that she was pregnant, at the time that she was put on life support, she was 9 weeks pregnant. And now they just took the baby off of life support, or like they took her off. Let's see, how big was the baby? I don't know, but very young. And the point is that because of Georgia's abortion laws, there's a 6-week abortion ban. So because she was 9 weeks pregnant, they decided to keep her alive because they could, just as a fucking incubator. Because guess what? One thing about America is that the South especially is not going to forget that men from Africa were brought here as workhorses and women were brought here as fucking incubators. So this is what the South and Southern, like, white supremacists think of Black and brown bodies, and specifically about Black and brown women. They're incubators. That's why they don't want you to be able to get an abortion, so that they get into the situation. And what's going to happen to that baby? It's 1 pound. 1 pound, not even pounds. So don't talk to me about what they're doing in Iran with women.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing in America to mothers of young children who are now being ripped out of their arms so that the women can be sent to El Salvador, you don't give a fuck about women. Did you see Sabrina Carpenter's new album? We need to talk about this.
I saw the album cover. Now here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Your husband and I, huge victory lap for us. I think we're going to go on tour. We're so happy at how this has turned out for us, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now you have obviously been really big on Sabrina Carpenter.
I love that 4'1" little baby.
you love espresso. I said, hey, it kind of feels industry planty, and you're like, fuck off. She's a real girl. It's all about feminism. It's the music. The music isn't for you. It's for the she's and the gays or whatever it is that you say.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. This is the hypersexualized lyrics and the dance moves at the concerts and the fellatio and all that stuff. It's ironic, asshole. You don't get it, man. It's not supposed to. You want to jerk off to it? Go ahead, jerk off to it. You would have jerked off to it anyways. But yeah, now her album cover comes out.
And
it's
called Man's
kneeling?
Best Friend.
Yes,
she's kneeling in front of a man, and everybody's like, that's not feminism. And I want to ask people.
Oh, good.
And I want to ask, I'm sorry, did Sabrina Carpenter say that she was a feminist?
I thought she did. Hold on. No. You don't get to escape from this. No. The entire thing has been about how she's a feminist and she is owning her. By the way, just so we're clear on this, right? I honestly feel that women can express their sexuality however the fuck they want to express it. And if they want to express it in the form of a kink or whatever that is, right? If that is ultimately what Sabrina Carpenter's explanation for this stuff is, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with anybody to be as free to explore their sexuality and however they want to, right?
Like, yes, in the same time.
At the same time,
women should stay indoors.
At the same time, you have to recognize the pop culture environment that you exist in, right? Like, you can't deny that imagery is it is meant to evoke something, right? Mm-hmm. And if people have that reaction with it, if people, especially, I think the stuff that, obviously we're joking around about because we're talking about the sex stuff, right? Some of the reactions that I saw online were about like, this is harmful in a way to young women because of, of like abusive relationships that a lot of young women enter, where the power dynamics are completely fucked up, right? And because of who is listening to Sabrina Carpenter records, she should be more careful about it. So I agree with that side.
I mean, here's the thing. People act like, oh, this is like so overly sexual and all this stuff. And why is she being so sexual and all these things? And she said in a Rolling Stone magazine, in an interview, she said, everybody always says all you do is sing about sex, but those songs are made very popular because you guys are the ones listening to music about sex. You all love sex also. You're also really obsessed with it, right? So that's, the first song off of the album is called Man-Child, and it's actually about how dumb men are and how easily manipulated men are, right? So I do think that there's some irony there. At the same time, when all this stuff was happening and everybody was talking about, oh, this album cover, all this stuff, what did she do? She used her platform to raise money for families that need legal support because they're being hunted down by ICE. Mm-hmm. She raised money for, mutual funds in Los Angeles and New York. So it's like, that's actually good use of your platform. You did something overly provocative. You got people talking. People have their eyes on you. And what did you do with your platform? You raised money for a good cause. So I'm like, you know what? Also, Raheel, she's a Lehigh Valley girl.
Oh, is she? From where?
Quakerstown.
Is she really?
That's right.
As you know, I was in Letitz, PA last night. By the way, it's pronounced Letitz. The locals always. I say it's Letitz. You can't convince me otherwise. What was I going to say about Pennsylvania? I feel a real kinship to PA now because I'm there so often. And also, anyways, I think that the criticism of the cover is valid, right? And I think that people are free to criticize anything that they want to, right? Sure. And I think Sabrina Carpenter would also say, hey, you want to criticize it, criticize it. Like, I would hope that she has enough money where she's like, hey, fine. You don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like it. Right. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the same time, it's like, I don't think that she ever asked to be a feminist icon. She's been very clear in how sexual she is. And I also think, here's the thing. I don't know if, like, I just am tired of the term feminism a little bit, right? And that's because I think that feminism from jump is sort of like it's a Western ideal, and I think it just
You and me
comes down to
both,
choice.
sister.
It
Enough
comes
with
down
the
to
feminism.
it comes down to choice, right? Like, I think that ultimately the whole idea of feminism is supposed to be that you are given choice. But if you're going to be looking down at the way a woman chooses to move in media, then that's inherently not a feminist idea. Then you're criticizing her. And look, I do think that there are some people who had a legit concern because they were like, the imagery is crazy because of Cassie and everything that she went through and everything like that. I agree that that is a valid criticism, and possibly, it was a short-sighted on her end. But the criticism that people have with that is that, oh, Black and brown women don't get to be this type of sexual, and they're not, when they navigate sexuality, it's kind of like looked down on. I don't think Sabrina Carpenter is saying that that's okay when she chooses to be sexual either, right? Like, I think that the way that people, the same way that people are kind of forgiving of her sexuality and how sexual she gets to be, is how people should be of Black and brown women. Meg the Stallion was on Love Island just this last week, and she was amazing. She hosted a twerking competition, Raheel. It was incredible. Everybody's butts were out. When I tell you this show, I had tears in my eyes of joy watching. I was like, but
did Meg the Stallion also compete in the twerking competition, or was
all she needed to do was walk.
What episode is this, and what streaming service?
I think it's episode 12 of the season of Love Island.
All right, link me.
Okay, I will. But like, again, that's my point, is that when it comes to a lot of that stuff, I think that when people make these like really big statements about, how is this being perceived, or like, why is a white woman allowed to do this and another woman is not, like, because the world is fucked up, but white women and Black women should be allowed to move however the hell they want. Like, I don't think that Sabrina Carpenter's album is going to set women back. You know what I mean? She wasn't necessarily interested in setting us forward. She's singing about espresso. Like, I don't think that, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Like,
because this is the same argument people used to have about like Britney Spears. Like, oh, she's so sexual and she's da-da-da and this and that, or Madonna. Yeah. Like, we've had the same conversation about multiple pop girls. And I don't think that any of them at any point do we decide to go like, yeah, you know what? I do feel really strong and empowered because Sabrina Carpenter is, pretending to do fellatio at our concert. Like, I don't think that any of that. I think that it just, again, comes down to choice. So,
listen, I don't disagree with you the way that you look at the world, right? I understand that you're like, hey, this is her choice. This is her freedom. If you're falling for this, number one, you're a man and you're stupid or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, I feel like that is not fully. I think that's a little bit short-sighted in terms of how it could potentially affect her audience, right? And you have like, there is like, she is a Disney Channel kid, right? There are fans, there are young fans, there's a lot of young fans. So criticism of an image of her on her knees with a fucking dog collar, next to a man's crotch, like, I think that is valid criticism. Like, I think that is something that if I see it, I'd say, hey, Sabrina, let's think about this. Let's talk about this. Is there a better way for us to get this message across, right? And ultimately, she'd tell me to go fuck off because it's not my choice. She can do whatever she wants to, right?
Sure.
But I think that the conversation is okay. I don't think that, it completely nullifies everything else that she's done in the past, or it makes her any less feminist to me, because, again, her being a feminist or not feminist, it really doesn't matter what I think.
I mean, a lot of her music is about how men are really terrible. Like, not in a way of like, I'm heartbroken and men are really terrible. A lot of her music is about like how, men are not worth the trouble, right? Yeah. So yes, she's hypersexual at the same time. She's getting hypersexual and trashing men. So I feel like that is kind of like reversing the script. Like, yes, you might be presenting yourself in a way that might be attractive to the male gaze, but the actual music that you're making is not really gonna make you feel good, my guy, if you really want to think about it.
Absolutely valid, right? At the same time, I think a picture, as I say, speaks 1,000 words, right? I think people see the picture. No, like, how many lyrics do you actually know? How many lyrics do you listen to?
A lot.
I know, maybe, sure, right? How many, like, what makes a bigger impact? Like, I don't know what all the lyrics of Espresso are, right? I just know it's about espresso.
They're not very smart.
It's so not. That's the thing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my point, though. I'm saying, like, these are like girly pop songs that are kind of vapid, but nothing in it. Like, when you listen to the actual words of the song, they're like vapid or kind of hating on men. And so I think it's kind of fun. I think that she's just like a fun pop girl, and she gets to be a fun pop girl. And Black women should also get to be fun pop girls. And that's it. Like, I think Meg Thee Stallion is incredible, and she gets criticized for everything. Cardi B gets criticized for everything. Like, I'm sure that, you know, I feel like out of all the Disney kids, it's like Zendaya is like the one person who's like, I feel like we haven't heard anything crazy about. And I'm sure that is because as a Black girl, or even Keke Palmer, as Black women coming up in the industry as child actors, they're being raised completely differently and how to navigate, you know, any of this space. So they don't necessarily do controversial things because that's not really allowed to them. So when somebody like Sabrina Carpenter chooses to use her space and do these overly controversial things, you do sometimes go like, other people are not given that opportunity because they're carrying too much on their backs. Like, white women get to be controversial in a way, and it only speaks to them. It doesn't. They get to be like, I'm just being fun, and it shouldn't impact anything. But the reality is, everybody should get to have fun. Mm-hmm. So that's that. Anyway, she's 4'11". She's so cute. Anyway,
how tall is she on her knees?
Raheel, I'm gonna have to cut that out. That's a Patreon only. Yeah, feels inappropriate.
It's the fucking picture that I'm referencing.
I know.
Don't put this on me. I swear to God, this is exactly why Trump won. What?
How dare you? Hey, speaking of winning, do you care about the Pacers?
Do I care about the Pacers? I cared a lot about the basketball, the finals.
Yeah.
Did you watch?
I watched the last game.
Oklahoma City won.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see Tyrese Halliburton get injured?
I did.
Did you feel sad?
I did. That's really sad to me. Yeah. Honestly, I get really sad when I see the other team being sad. Like, even when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was like, it does suck to be, well, not the Chiefs. Fuck those guys. Also, fuck the Patriots. Never mind. Just kidding. Not them. But anybody else, I'm like, I do get sad when the other team loses because you try so hard.
And I mean, obviously, there's good people on both sides. I was rooting for Oklahoma City in this scenario. I was just really bummed out for that guy. Like, that guy, like, because that was a big story coming into the game. Yeah, like his calf was sore. Everybody knew about it, and they talked about like the dangers of it, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, absolutely not. He's like, there's no way I'm not playing this game, right? He's like, it's game 7. I'm absolutely gonna play it. And so that was in the back of all of our heads, and to see it happen, like, he started off so hot and then just so sad. So
it is really sad. Now, speaking of basketball, I do see that a woman named Sophie Cunningham got into a fight with Caitlin Clark.
No,
and
did not.
No?
Sophie Cunningham is Caitlin Clark's
teammate.
Yeah, but I have some Sophie Cunningham tea if you ever want to get into it.
Okay, well, we don't have time right now, but I did see the clip because there is it's gonna upset me.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, go on this one first.
Okay, my point is that I did see the clip of Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham getting into it against the Suns, and the Suns.
Mercury.
Oh, the Mercury. Yeah. Is that is it Phoenix Mercury?
Oh no, actually no. It was Connecticut Sun. You're right. It was a Connecticut
Sun.
You know why they're named the Connecticut Sun?
Oh God, why?
The Mohegan Sun.
Girls, we need to do better. Connecticut Sun.
Yeah.
Please. I just assumed it was Phoenix because I was like, oh, the Suns. Yeah, like the Phoenix Suns.
It's the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay. But it wasn't in a fight with the Connecticut Suns. I saw the clip. Sun. Yeah. I saw the clip because there's this influencers that this TikToker that pops up, and she is hard of hearing, and she does a lot of lip reading. I love those.
Yeah.
And they got into it. Said, I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's what Caitlin Clark said. And I was like, oh, interesting. Are we going to have a conversation about how the other people hate Caitlin Clark? Are we going to vilify the other team and talk about how maybe they're jealous like we do with Angel Reese? Are we going to do that?
It's funny that didn't happen. Actually, because I followed that story when it happened, like, as the fight was happening. Yeah. Number one, I was like, and by the way, I love it. Caitlin Clark talks shit all the time. That she talks a lot of trash, right? But it's like, she talks trash. So when stuff like the stuff with Angel Reese happens, it's not just one-sided. That's the stuff that is so infuriating, is people are just like, oh, Angel Reese is jealous of her. No, like, this is competition. This is who Caitlin Clark is. She talks trash, and it's great. Saw that, and then the second thing, I was like, I wonder why they're not covering this story the same way that they were covering the other stories, and it's mainly because the person that bumped Caitlin Clark was a white lady, right?
There you go.
That's the main reason that it happened. And then the other ladies that got into a fight, Sophie Cunningham got in a fight with somebody else on the Sun after I think it was like a fast break or something. Yeah. And two white ladies fighting, right? We don't talk about it the same way that we don't.
We sure don't. We sure don't. Isn't that interesting? No, honestly, it made me want to go to more WNBA games. I say it every year. We really got to go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go see the Liberty. And does Brooklyn have a team or no?
The Liberty play in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. But they don't get to play Madison Square Garden?
I don't think so, not anymore. I think they just play primarily out of Brooklyn now.
Huh. That feels rude.
They used to play in Madison Square Garden, but I think they just play in Brooklyn now.
I mean, Barkley is the better arena, I feel.
No way.
Really?
There's nothing better than MSG to watch a basketball game. No place, no arena in the world better.
And also in your Chinese food.
Yeah. Well, so Barclays is better, like, for all the conveniences and all that stuff. But in terms of, like, the crowd and, like, the building and stuff you want to be in.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden is disgusting and it's dilapidated and, like, all of those things. But there's nothing better than
it is convenient also for the the bridge and tunnel.
Just go right there.
So right there. All right, let's go. Let's go to some Liberty games this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you got anything else?
I mean, I got a bunch of stuff about sports, but I don't think we have the time for that.
We don't. What is this thing? Give me the tea about Sophie Cunningham. What does she do?
Ooh. So Sophie Cunningham, have you seen her, by the way?
Yeah, she's pretty.
Beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Now, I think we talked about this maybe a year and a half ago, but as the WNBA has gotten more and more popular, the fits have become a big deal, right?
Ooh.
Sophie Cunningham, very, very big on the fits on social media because of how attractive she is and all that.
Oh my God, so hot. I just Googled it.
Yeah. So Sophie Cunningham became Caitlin Clark's teammate this year. She actually used to be in Phoenix. And she came to the Fever because she said, hey, I want to help Caitlin Clark win blah, 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 blah.
Amazing.
At the same time, you can't deny, and this is like, these are the chirpings. So this is where I'm being an asshole, I'm sure, and you're going to get upset at me. But, like, you can't deny that the Fever get a lot of attention because of Caitlin Clark.
Of course.
As you know, so then Sophie Cunningham, being as attractive as she is and being, so online and all that stuff, it also makes her star a little bit bigger, right? So it's like one of those things that just kind of, this isn't something that's covered on ESPN, right? This is just stuff that basketball fans talk to about.
Sure. Apparently she hit 1 million followers after the fight. So,
and it's like, you're like, hey, good for you, Sophie Cunningham. You're very, and by the way, this is like, none of this happens if she isn't also fucking great at basketball. Like, she is one of the best female basketball
of course, and she's so hot
and all those things, right? Now, after she left Phoenix, there is a lawsuit I think it's some sort of workplace lawsuit against the owner and the president of the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay.
And what came out in that lawsuit was that Sophie Cunningham was having an affair with him and broke up his marriage.
Oh, well.
I don't know. I don't know why I thought that was going to be spicier. And now I feel bad about kind of painting Sophie Cunningham in this light.
So she fucked a guy. Who cares? You know why I don't care? Because I don't know this man or his wife. Now, if I knew his wife,
I think that's what is upsetting to me, because he looks like a gargoyle.
That is more upsetting.
Yeah,
exactly. And honestly, he probably came on to her anyway. I thought Sophie Cunningham was gay, so that's even more upsetting. That she's a man. You have that body, and you chose to be with a gargoyle. That's more upsetting. Forget his wife.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, that's it for this episode. I'll be back later on this week to talk about Love Island and a bunch of other stuff. I'm also going to watch The Gilded Age. And for Patreon only, I'm going to do a Gilded Age recap of the first episode. Raheel, I think you should watch The Gilded Age.
How many seasons is The Gilded Age so far?
2.
How many episodes are we talking?
7 or 8.
Oh, should I watch it?
Dude, it's comforting like Downton Abbey.
So I started really hot and heavy. Me and Downton Abbey, we started off really hot and heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They killed Cousin Matthew.
Yes, we will never forget.
And then the show just went to shit. I'm like, why am I watching this? And then what's her name had pregnancy. What kind of pregnancy was it?
Secret baby.
No, there was a pregnancy. The one of the middle daughter died.
Oh, God.
Like an ectopic pregnancy, or
she had a terrible what's it called, birth, and she died giving birth.
Yeah. And then I was just like,
Sadie, her name was Sadie, I think. I don't know what it was.
And then and then the fucking, what's his name, the guy with the foot guy, the guy with all the honor, he's going to jail even though he didn't do the crime or whatever. And I'm like, this is just making me feel terrible. Why am I watching this? So I
know. Well, I hate to bring it to you, but back then in the early 1900s, things like this did happen. Oh. So, but anyway, you should watch The Gilded Age. I think that you would really like it. It's very inconsequential, and it has Carrie Coon, who is your favorite on White Lotus.
Yeah.
So there's a robber baron. He's very sexy. I may have posted a picture of him and said, I'm Baron and I'd like to be robbed.